but she's groomed up in closer to the way that that you're asking about. So here's the shoulder area, and then here's the elbow, and there's kind of a dent. You can kind of, if you put your two fingers together and slide down, they'll come to rest in right at the elbow. They just kind of fit in there. So in the beginning, I always thought that I needed to strip all the way into that hollow. But the problem with that is that it creates from the front, it like curves in and then back out. So what you really want to do is you want to strip to about 2 fingers above where that indentation is. And so in her case, I'd stop stripping about here. I stripped a little deeper than that on her, but that's because I hadn't put her in a show coat before, and it was like my first stab at it for her. If I was gonna grow it out, and in fact, when I get ready for Orlando, I won't re-strip from there down. I'm growing that out so that I'll have it to scissor to blend. So the hardest time to blend it is like right now when this is very short and this is kind of long. As this grows out a little bit, the blend will become easier because there won't be as much difference in the length from the upper part of that hollow to the elbow itself. So that's where you do it. You do the 2 fingers. Now to actually blend, I always recommend wetting, either bathing, but at least wetting the hair and then blowing it dry so it's straight, because it's that straight hair that you'll create the column out of. And so I'd get this wet, and either with a hand dryer and a brush or a forced air blower, straighten the hair. You can put a little mousse in it to give it a little more structure while you're scissoring it so it holds the shape a little bit better. So those
that's exactly what I'm doing. Yep.
Okay. So I just say if I had already blown this out, then I would use a comb and I would fluff this out. Oh my gosh, the static is crazy in here right now. Little spit on it, that should take care of it. And then so now there's a big difference. So I want to be careful that I don't cut it too hard. So one thing that I have found, so standing in front, now that I've lifted this hair with my comb or whatever and put the wispies down, then if I lift the leg this way and I put the elbow at a 90-degree angle, like a right angle, then the way this hair sticks out right here, I can, in line with the shoulder, I can use my thinning shears to lightly cut away some of that hair right there, which is this. Let me grab some thinners. So I hold the leg at a 90-degree angle. See if I can get any closer. And there's hair sticking out right here. And as if this was a flat plane down the shoulder and then to the floor or to the tabletop, anything on the outside of that imaginary plane of glass, that's what I would hit with the thinners, kind of in an angle this way. And we're using the thinners because they're so conservative. You won't put cut marks if you use the thinning shears. So now that blended a lot more of what I wanted. Maybe I can do that just a little bit more. So then the next part I need to blend is the front of the leg. And I always like this curve on the inside of the elbow to be as clean as possible, because that allows the prosternum to be seen the best, and the natural amount of chest that the dog has can be seen. And Dogs that don't have much chest can't really compete against that. So it's a virtue I always try to put in. A little bit right there so you kind of see the shape of the chest too. Okay, so now I've got this part of the elbow done first, then this part. Now I look at it and I can see this part's neat and tidy, this is neat and tidy, but now it's a little fussy right here. This area is really important to have blown out. What I'm doing right here, I'm actually not going to do very much of it because she's not blown out and I don't want to make a permanent dent in her furnishings 3 weeks before Orlando. So I'm just going to be only right around the elbow itself. One last thing you can do is you can lift it up and make the 90-degree angle again. And just right at the point of the elbow. And again, if you're not sure, you just make one cut and put it down and look what happened. That way, if you see a trend you don't like starting, you don't have to commit to it. Now I'm like, okay, well, I could take a little more. So as I lift this leg, I'm literally keeping my eyes on exactly the hairs I'm planning to cut. As I lift the leg, I have not lost sight of the hair I want to cut right here. Put it down. Okay, and then that's a pretty tight elbow, given that we didn't actually blow it out. We didn't actually put chalk or other product in it to make it as much like a show leg as it's going to be. But and for pets, obviously we don't have to make it like would be a show leg, but chalking it or using other product gives you the most precise columns to practice your scissoring with. So the more, the more we play with learning those skills, the more we're able to practice getting the results that we're imagining up here, that we're trying to turn from our brain idea into physical hair on the dog.